Hello people, it's Chris from IELTS Daily and I have a special session for you today. It's an essay writing session. We are going to be looking at a question which is really relevant to today. I'll talk about that in a second. But just before I do, we're going to look at generating some ideas for your IELTS writing task 2. We're going to look at essay. We're going to evaluate an essay that I write. And if you need more sample essays, including this one, I will be publishing this one on the IELTS Daily website. On that website, you will find lots of other sample resources. If you need some feedback or if you want to access all our old videos, you can become a member. You will see that there are some green students in the chat at the moment. They are all members of the IELTS Daily channel and you can become a member too. You can become a starter member and you get access to all our old past live videos. You can also become a superstar member. This gives you 2 pieces of feedback every month and you have a weekly Zoom session with me. And that is a possibility to buy on the YouTube page. So go and have a look at that. All right, let's begin. Today's topic is really pertinent. It's relevant to this week and next week because the question is about sports and about the Olympic Games. This is a recent question that a student has submitted to us. So it's something that may appear in your test. And the question is as follows. Here's the question. Having more international sporting events, such as the Olympic Games, may promote world peace. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Give reasons for your answer and include examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words. Has anybody seen this question before? Is this a question that would be easy for you? Well, I haven't written a response yet. I'm going to write it with you today. You will see that in the corner there is a stopwatch. The stopwatch will be starting as soon as I begin the class. So you'll see the stopwatch. It will begin very soon, and then we can join or we can write this together. Okay. So I'm going to start the stopwatch, and here we go. So the question is about sporting events, and the reason why it's a useful topic at the moment is because we've got the Olympic Games. And so what I want to do is think about the following aspects. Do I understand the question? Are there any important words or things to consider? What is side 1 of the argument? What is side 2? Because sometimes, most of the times in an IELTS essay, you will find that there are 2 sides, usually. Okay, and you have to consider both sides and then think about what is my position. So do I understand the question? Are there any important words to consider? What is side 1 and what is side 2? And what is my position? That is how you should normally approach an IELTS essay. So the first question is, do I understand the question? Having more international sporting events, such as the Olympic Games, may promote world peace. To what extent do I agree or disagree? So I know the question is, it's an opinion essay. It's asking for agreement or disagreement. And you may find that in the test you have to discuss your opinion as well. So that's the important thing that you need to consider. Okay, so try to consider both of those sides or points. Are there any important words to consider? Yes, in my view, there are some important words to consider. And normally, when there's a live session like this, I would be asking you to put in the chat what you think is the most important word. But because this is pre-recorded, I won't be able to ask you, so I'll just tell you. The most important word in this question for me is the word may. Okay, if we can see the word may there, I will change the color and I'll put it in red. Okay, so the most important word is may, because this is giving some sort of conditionality and probability. So for me, it's the most may promote. I think that's also useful to write down. Now, the more difficult side is what is side 1 and what is side 2. So side 1 will be may not promote and side 2 will be may promote. So those would be your 2 sides that you should be considering. So they may promote and they may not promote. All clear so far? I think so. So they may not promote world peace. I know examples where sporting events can result in violence. And we could think about the word hooligan, so people who are involved in particularly sporting violence. There may be some examples where countries which are historically opposed to each other may have some problems with competing. There have been some examples where countries don't want to compete against the other country. This one would be a little bit difficult to cover because in the IELTS test, I would say try to stick away, try not to include anything which is too political. Okay, so there would be some political aspect to this. I would avoid, probably do not include names of countries that you know have, historic issues. Probably best to avoid that. So let's focus. I'm going to focus just on this idea of violence and hooliganism. Yeah, so sporting violence. Great. So that would be they may not promote world peace. Why may they promote world peace? Okay, so there are some reasons that I can see. So competition can be valuable. It can be healthy in that sense that when you're competing, that it can be valuable and healthy. These big sporting events, such as the Olympics, they take place in various different countries. So it allows people who maybe never have travelled before. So the fact that it's global, it allows spectators and competitors, to travel to other places, to experience different cultures. And so this would be a positive feature because it allows people to realise that actually maybe any preconceived or judgments that they had before may be broken down. So we may think of some other ideas as we go along, but because we are now at 5 minutes and 40, we should probably start beginning to structure our essay and think about how we can put together this writing. So my position will be, yes, actually, they may promote. Okay, in fact, I would go as far to say as that they do promote world peace. Okay, because these are, like, for example, the Olympic Games that are happening at the moment in Tokyo. There are countries from all around the world working together harmoniously. I mean, they're not working together, but they're competing against each other harmoniously, and it allows people to interact. And I think that's another. So the competitors interact and they learn and they communicate. Okay, so think about those ideas. So when we are thinking about the structure of our essay, let's go and discuss that now. The first thing that's really important to consider is, and I say this in all my classes, there is no one way to write an IELTS essay. So if you find that on the internet that you are finding that websites are telling you to write 4 paragraphs, okay, and that it should be intro, body 1, body 2, and conclusion, let me just tell you now, this is the wrong approach, because in the IELTS test there is no one way, and I'll put it in parentheses, there's no one correct way, there's no one correct way to write an IELTS essay. That's as simple as it is. You might have 3 paragraphs, you might have 5 paragraphs, you may even have 6 paragraphs. It just depends on the question. So if you're finding that one website tells you that every essay should write 4 paragraphs, this website is not reputable. It's leading you down the route of templates and memorized language, and that's not the right thing for you to be doing. So please avoid those types of structures. In this particular example, we may want to have, we need to have an introduction. Okay, we need it. Okay. Now, your body paragraph 1. In my case, it probably makes sense to look at the opposing side first. Okay, and I would suggest that putting your opposing side first is going to be beneficial because it allows you to create a refutation and it allows you to give a clear position a little bit later. So let's put the opposing side first. Now, let's put as the first body paragraph. The second body paragraph, all right. Now, you'll notice here that in my side 2, we've got different ideas. We've got something to say that competition is valuable and healthy. We've got this idea of global travel and spectators and competitors traveling and competitors interacting, learning and communicating. Those really are different topics. And if you want to score a band 7 or above in your coherence and cohesion section, you need to make sure that every paragraph has a distinct and clear central topic. And I would question whether you could include all of those ideas in one paragraph. So I'm initially thinking that we're going to have like at least 2 body paragraphs. So we'll have a first body paragraph, a second body paragraph, and probably a third body paragraph. And to do that, you need to have my central topic of this body paragraph would maybe be about the global nature of the sporting events. People can travel and learn, okay, about different places, and that would promote world peace. Okay, the second body paragraph, the central topic, would maybe be around the idea of competition being healthy because it allows competitors to learn about their counterparts, the people they are competing against. And the most important thing here, and it's really useful for you to see this, is that the central topic of each paragraph should be different. It should not be the same. And so I think this is a really common problem for many people, is that they don't really understand the idea of planning a good essay and making sure that ideas are organized. So what we're saying is, in our body paragraphs, that the first body paragraph, the opposing side, relates to violence, okay? And we are going to transition and we're going to use some language which says that, okay, there may be some point in this argument about that some events are violent, okay, but by learning and traveling to different countries and by understanding that people are the same everywhere, this violence in the long term could be countered. People will start to travel and respect other places. The Olympic Games will be held in different countries over time, and that allows people to really kind of get to grips and understand different cultures. So that's you're creating something called a refutation or a rebuttal. And then we have a third paragraph and saying, not only is the global nature and traveling and learning useful for the fans, and we could even include this for the fans. We could talk about not only is it good for the fans, it's also useful for the competitors because they learn about each other, they compete against each other, and that competition is healthy. Okay, So notice here how I'm really differentiating and providing a clear distinction between the two central topics. This one is about, and I should have said this before, this is about fans and this is about competitors. And what you don't want to be doing is mixing those topics up, because it will restrict you and prohibit you and preclude you from getting a band 7 in the coherence and cohesion, because band 7 says that you need to have a clear central topic in each paragraph. And your conclusion, and this is an important point, your conclusion is just a summary of your points, which is restated. Again, you say it in a different way, and you should not, and this is important, you should not introduce new ideas in your conclusion. Is that all clear? So we're now at 13 minutes, and we've kind of got to grips with what our essay is going to look like. It may change as we go along, but I think this is really important that you plan carefully, because if you are doing the paper-based test, you will find that without a good plan, you're not going to be able to create the flow as easily as a computer-delivered test, because you can't copy, paste, cut. It's all by hand, and you'll have to rub things out, and it'll become very messy. Whereas if you're doing it on the computer-delivered test, you will find it much easier, like I'm doing today. I can cut things out, I can delete things really easily. So just be very, very, very aware that if you're doing paper-based, you should definitely make a clear plan. Shall we start writing? Okay, let me just familiarise myself with the topic again. More international sporting events, such as Olympic Games, may promote world peace. To what extent do I agree? And may promote. Great. Let's have a look. I might go quiet at times, because sometimes when I type and write, it is more difficult for me to think of ideas. So international sporting competitions such as the World Cup or the Olympic Games bring fans and competitors together, but do they always promote positive values, and could they potentially be a catalyst for world peace? I think that's the question talks about world peace, yes. Question mark. It is my view that despite some minor issues relating to violence, these events can be okay. Let's have a look again. International sporting competitions such as the World Cup or the Olympic Games. I might put these between commas, because we could remove them. If we put them between commas like this, if we cut them out, the sentence remains the same. Notice international sporting competitions bring fans and competitors. So we put them in commas so that we can remove them. So international sporting competitions such as the World Cup or the Olympic Games bring fans and competitors together, but do they always promote positive values, and could they potentially be a catalyst for world peace? So we're using higher level language there. Be a catalyst for world peace. If you in the test don't know the word catalyst for, be used for world peace, or could they help world peace? Could they potentially help world peace? It's a little bit easier, but remember, if we're looking for band 9, we need to use some higher level language. So, and that's be a catalyst for would be an example of collocation. So, a prepositional phrase. It is my view that despite some minor issues relating to violence, these issues can be extremely useful in promoting positive international relations. And then we've got this world peace, and I've used a different term here, which is promote positive international relations. I was looking before at global relations, but international relations is a more common collocation. So my position is stated at the beginning. I think the examiner knows what the position is. And we're halfway through our essay. Okay, we've got 19 minutes or 20 minutes. So there's my introduction. I've set out my position and it's fairly clear. Right. It is first necessary to acknowledge that there are indeed some issues with these large sporting events. Hooliganism and violence is one such example, and recent events at the Euro 2020 football contest highlight this. Okay. Soccer seems to be a sport which is plagued by fan violence, but I believe that competition organisers are working hard to eradicate this. Let's have a look. It is first necessary to acknowledge that there are indeed, and I've used indeed between commas, I'm using it as emphasis, there are indeed some issues with these large sporting events. Hooliganism, that's a difficult word, and violence is one such example, and recent events at the 2020 football contest highlight this. This is referencing, it's highlighting this, that there are some issues, highlight this problem. We could say, soccer seems to be a sport which is plagued by fan violence, but I believe that competition organisers are working hard to eradicate this. Okay. Then, so we've acknowledged the other side. We've said there are some issues with sporting events, and hooliganism and violence is one. Despite this issue, I believe that Despite this issue, and we're referring to the issue before, and I've spelt despite wrong. So despite this issue, I believe that competitions such as the Olympic Games are extremely beneficial when it comes to promoting world peace. So we're using a topic sentence to change direction of the argument. The main So let's have a look at what I've written here. Despite this issue, I believe that competitions such as the Olympic Games are extremely beneficial when it comes to promoting world peace. The main reason for this is that such competitions are held in different global locations and I need to comma this, and we're putting emphasis, and as a result, committed fans frequently travel to places they would have never otherwise travelled to. They would have never otherwise travelled to. This allows them, and then we've got this and referencing. This allows them. So we've got this is the travelling and them are the fans. This is referencing for your coherence and cohesion mark. This allows them to experience countries and cultures, learn about traditions and societies, and gain a deeper understanding of people around the world. This can surely only have positive effects in the future. So that's my position about travel. Yeah. The benefits do not only stop at the fans, as the competitors themselves I'm not sure about this one. I'm wanting to say, how many minutes do I have left? So I've got 13 minutes left. I want to say that the fans are important, but the competitors are equally important. The benefits of these competitions do not only apply to the fans. So that's my topic sentence. Consider how the competitors themselves benefit from these events as they are exposed to counterparts from other countries and cultures and thus gaining a deeper insight into people they would have never met without such events. I recently watched the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Japan and was pleased to see so many countries working together harmoniously Let's have a look. Remember in the test it does ask you to say give reasons for your answer and include examples from your own knowledge or experience, and you can use your own experience. So the benefits of these competitions do not only apply to fans. Consider how the competitors themselves benefit from these events as they are exposed to counterparts from other countries and cultures, thus gaining a deeper insight into the people they would have never met without such events. I recently watched the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Japan and was pleased to see so many countries working together harmoniously. And this harmoniously. I think that's enough. And you're summarizing it. Sorry, you didn't see that there. My fault. Harmoniously. So we've got it's looking quite long at the moment. How many minutes have I got left? I've got 10 minutes left. I've just got my conclusion to do. I'll just do a word count. My word count says 273 words at the moment. So I can write a fairly short conclusion. Yeah? Let's see. International Let's have a look at my conclusion. International sporting events have a few limited issues around violent and inappropriate behaviour by fans. On the whole, however, and we'll put that on the whole, however, the competitions allow competitors and supporters to travel and learn about other cultures and, in my view, definitely encourage world peace. So there is my position about going back to world peace. So we're pushing. I think we're probably at just over 300 words, and we've got. Sorry, I don't want to do spelling and grammar. Forgive me. I want to do word count. Word count is 4. No. I'm going crazy. word count is 312. That's okay, 312. I don't want to go much longer because I think examiners have a limited time already. So just let's not go too much into our word count. We've still got 7 minutes left, and it's always really important to reread and check for spelling and grammar. Let's have a look. International sporting competitions such as the World Cup or the Olympic Games bring fans and competitors together, but do they always promote positive values, and could they potentially be a catalyst for world peace? It is my view that despite some minor issues relating to violence, these events can be extremely useful in promoting positive international relations. It is first necessary to acknowledge that there are indeed some issues with these large sporting events. Hooliganism and violence is one such example. So we've put it together with our one such example. Hooliganism and violence are one such example, is one such example. So there's one example and it's putting them together. This is a tricky one because many native speakers would use both. Hooliganism and violence are one such example, is one such example. So there's an issue, so it would be is. The issue is one. Hooliganism and violence is one such example, and recent events at the Euro 2020 football contest highlight this. Soccer seems to be a sport which is plagued by fan violence, but I believe that competition organisers are working hard to eradicate this. Okay. Despite this issue, I believe that competitions such as the Olympic Games are extremely beneficial when it comes to promoting world peace. The main reason for this is that such competitions are held in different global locations, and as a result, committed fans frequently travel to places they would have never otherwise travelled to. This allows them to experience countries and cultures, learn about traditions and societies, and gain a deeper understanding of people around the world. This can surely only have positive effects in the future. The benefits of these competitions do not only apply to the fans. Consider how the competitors themselves benefit from these events, as they are exposed to counterparts from other countries and cultures, thus gaining a deeper insight into people they would never have met without such events. I recently watched the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Japan and was pleased to see so many countries working together harmoniously. International sporting events have a few limited issues around violence and inappropriate behaviour by fans. On the whole, however, they allow competitors and supporters to travel and learn about other cultures, and, in my view, definitely encourage world peace. So I've answered the questions. The only thing I think it's important to note about complexity of language. We've got phrases like when it comes to, so that's grammatically complex. Let's have a look at any others. Consider how the competitors themselves benefit from these events as they are exposed to counterparts from other countries, thus gaining, that's a complex sentence, thus gaining deeper insight to people they would never have met without such events. Without such events, complexity. I recently watched the opening and was pleased to see so many countries. International sports have few around violence. On the whole, however, they allow competitors to travel and learn about other and in my view definitely encourage world peace. So that's a compound sentence. The only thing that I would consider here is about the range of grammar sentences. Remember that you have to have a range of complex sentences. Would I be penalised for this? We've got which is plagued. Okay, so there's another complex sentence, which is good. So we need to have a range of them. So we've got when it comes to, we've got which is. You might want to have an if sentence, but do they always? So they've got do they always promote? So there's it's a rhetorical question. despite some minor issues. So that's a complex sentence. So actually I do have a variety of different complex sentences throughout. Language, the other thing that I would think would be, do I have enough higher level language when it comes to lexis? So I think it's okay that the test itself is looking for some less common idiomatic language. So you might have words such, we talked about it before, which would be a catalyst for world peace. We've got hooliganism. That's a word that would not normally be used at a lower level. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I've included my own opinion, so therefore I am not too worried. I think that would be definitely over a band 8, maybe an 8.5. And we've just finished at the 39-minute mark. We'll be able to check our work. So this essay will be published at IELTS daily.com, and you can find it under the writing section. If you have any questions, maybe leave a comment. If you like this video, please give it a like. If it was helpful for you when writing your essay, I understand that you should probably not think about writing something so complex. If you're just needing over a band 7, try to make the sentences just a little bit more simple, but pay attention to the organization of the text. We've got our first opposing point, and then we've rebutted it. We've made a rebuttal, and the same thing here. We've added an additional paragraph because that's the most logical way to do it. I hope that was useful. Feel free to write something in the comments if it was. Nice to see you all. We finished at 40 minutes. Go and take care of yourselves, and hopefully I'll see you in future videos. Bye for now.